No, jó napot, kedves tizedik évfolyam! Mindannyian befejeztétek már az első világháborút, itt a témazáró dolgozatokat beírtam, ezt láthattátok, és elkezdem a következő témát, amit majd szeretném, hogyha a füzetetekbe bekerülne, mint új témakör. Ennek az lesz a nagy címe, hogy Interwar Period, ezt írjátok majd fel, mint első nagy címet, és ez alá betesszük majd a témákat. És a diák hozzáférhetők lesznek, és ez a videó is hozzáférhető lesz, úgyhogy kezdjük is el. So ladies and gents, we are going to speak English because this is history in English. Our topic is interwar period, so from the end of the First World War till the beginning of the Second World War, 1919 and 1939. As you know, after the war, there were serious economic problems because everyone's war economy just made their economy collapse. In this picture, you can see a little child building Tower of Money. In the other picture, there is a woman heating with money. So actually, there was serious inflation. Money lost value. In the next picture, you will see that from the 1913 until 38, these are the two last peace years. Between that, everyone knows that the United States has the greatest impact on the world economy. And as the World War came, their importance grew, but the others couldn't have much economic power. So we can say that after the World War, it was only the USA with the purple line that had constant growth, but the others all had serious problems. Russia, later Soviet Union, had the greatest problem, as you see, because of their civil war. I hope you remember. So there was economic crisis, and even the winners went bankrupt and were serious debts. Of course, the winners were in debt towards the USA, and the USA wanted their money back. War economy had to be stopped. Serious unemployment. Factories weren't started, so people lost their jobs. Inflation, or actually we often call it hyperinflation, when money value drops seriously. But inflation is okay if you use that. There was no capital, so this means that no one had money to invest in a new business. The market shrank, so there was actually not enough products, and production fell. This means market shrank means this. The USA is the absolute winner of the war. Their economy grew, but Europe lost political and economic importance. This is a nice example. Germany couldn't pay reparation because it was economic crisis, and the French wanted their money immediately, the reparation payment, but Germany couldn't pay, and this is why the French occupied the Rhine region. But in this military action, they went bankrupt, so it was absolutely useless to use the soldiers again and such. Something had to be done. And that was, in 1924, a fantastic plan, the Dawes Plan. Charles Dawes was a fantastic economist, so he understood how economic relations worked in the world, so they believed that the whole situation can be saved in a way. USA has capital. They are rich. First, they invest with loans and investments, of course, Germany. German economy had to be restarted. And when the Germans start production, they start paying back the reparation to France and Great Britain. And by this, their economies get restarted. And by this, they can pay back things. So the only solution is to restart the German economy, and then everyone will restart their economies. This worked. They made it and they did it. Fantastic. This was economic problems. Let's talk about political problems as well. Before the First World War, there were some left-wing parties, social democrats, who believed in the idea of socialism and people, the lower layers, must be saved. There were right-wing parties, but they were mostly like civilian parties. Liberals and conservatives belonged here, and there was no extreme right. In the extreme left, there were the anarchists who did some kind of assassinations against monarchs and such. But after World War One and the crisis of World War One, like economy and the serious losses and of course many deaths, created new political parties. The extremes, like communists, became strong, and a lot of social democrats moved there. The other extreme on the other side, fascism and Nazism, were born, and of course, some civilian party members moved there. Because there was crisis, the extremes got stronger. There were still social democrats, there were still civilian parties, but they had no real supporters. The extremes became more and more important. Dictatorship, both sides will become dictatorships. And of course, democracy couldn't get strong in a crisis. This is important. Economic crisis will result in the growth of political extremes. This is a truth to be remembered. What happened in Europe? This map shows us with different colors what kind of political regimes were born. Look at these, they are the yellow ones. We like them, they are parliamentary systems. So in these countries there were some kind of democratic republic thing. But in where colors are different, there were some violent regimes. And the blue regimes is an authoritarian regimes with some very powerful government. In the orange ones, there was restricted parliamentarism. So there was elections, but not everyone could vote. And only open ballots were held, so actually parliament winners were always the same parties, but there was republic. Okay. And what about the red ones? These are where totalitarian systems were born. The Soviet Union became a communist dictatorship, and Italy became fascist dictatorship. I am going to speak about both of them in other lessons. Okay. So to develop between the two wars, after the economic crisis, they had to somehow start new relationship with Germany. If we get friends again with Germans, then peaceful will be long-lasting peace. So what happened? Different nations started signing agreements with Germany. In Germany, there was the so-called Weimar Republic. So in Germany, they started a kind of democratic system with a lot of parties. Their leader was Stresemann. His name is important because he is the person who actually means the Weimar Republic. And they really wanted to fulfill the conditions of the peace treaty. So this means that Germany wanted to produce, they wanted to pay back reparation, so everything shall be fine. The first agreement in 22 came with the Germans and the Soviets. So actually, Soviets and Germans in 22 agreed that there won't be any fight among them, between them. The next one, Locarno Agreement, is more important because finally Germany and France, the serious enemies, they were friends again, and they said that there won't be any war again because they agreed in the border between them, so that was agreed by both sides, and well, it seemed that it would be okay for a long time. Kellogg-Briand Pact is another thing. Here, French and Americans signed again pacts. You will find it in your book. This is not very important. I would like to mention Locarno as really important and Rapallo. The Young Plan finalized the reparation of Germany, so 114 billion marks should be paid by Germany. This is a huge money, and Germany started repaying it, so started to pay it back. So that is how Germany started the 20s. Central Europe. In Central Europe, you know, the monarchy collapsed, and the new countries like Czechoslovakia, Romania, Serbian, Croatian, Slovenian Kingdom, so Yugoslavia to the south, and Austria, all became isolated countries. So actually they wanted to prove that they are potentially economically potent countries. They can have, but they can easily be self-sufficient. So economic self-sufficiency, önellátás, it's really important. But it was unsuccessful. These countries should have cooperated, but they didn't. There were ethnic crises, ethnic problems and such. And now, of course, the ethnic conflicts, new borders, ethnic minorities had a lot of problems. And as last but not least, we are talking about the Little Entente, which belongs to here, 1920-21. It was created around Hungary. Czechoslovakia, Romania, and Yugoslavia signed a pact against Hungary. As you see in this map, everyone had some connections with France, except Hungary. Hungary had only connection with Italy economically. So actually, we were isolated and the other countries got allied against Hungary and the monarchy. Alright, so this is the political and economic interwar period. Ezt az időszakot legyetek szívesek lejegyzetelni. Miután megnézted a diát, készíts angol nyelvű jegyzetet, mindenképpen nyissátok ki ehhez a tankönyvet, mert itt nem tudtál visszakérdezni. És erre a tankönyv segíteni fog, illetve küldesz nekem message-et, hogyha nem értesz egy összefüggést. Olvasd el, értelmezd, és nagyon jó munkát kívánok! Ilyen kis 10-13 perces videókat igyekszem nektek majd csinálni. Mindenkinek jó munkát kívánok, ezt igyekezzetek feldolgozni.